So I'm reading for what says Harambam. Okay? Halo bi'arti lecha, shezeh hasechel asher shafa aleinu me'Hashem yitaleh. Hu hadibuk asher banenu ubeino. Okay, so the Rambam is saying to us that I have clarified for you that this sechel, right, that for right now we'll translate sechel as intellect or as mind, right, that the sechel that I have, that has been bestowed upon you, right, from Hashem, right, from Hashem Yisbarach, Hashem Yitaleh, this sechel is the dveikus. This is where we make the connection between us and between Him. Okay, and now this is very powerful, the next sentence. V'harashut netuna lacha im tirtzeh lechazek hadivuk hazeh ta'aseh. Okay, and the permission is given to you if you want to strengthen in this attachment, so you'll do it. Right? V'im tirtzeh lahachlishu me'at ad shetafsikehu ta'aseh. Right? And it's within your power, and you want to weaken this connection, you want to weaken this dveikus, this attachment, slowly until it ceases, so you will. Right? In other words, this is what the Rambam is pointing out to us, is this is the true area of Bechira. This is the area of free choice. Right? That Hashem planted within us this thing, right, called sechel, right, this mind, this intellect. And it's in this place that we have the attachment with Hashem. Again, as Rav Pinkus translated, that the power of thought is what connects us with Hashem. Right, that's exactly what the Rambam is saying. And we have it within our power. We can either strengthen this connection or we can weaken this connection. Right? So, okay, let's go on to the next page where it says Lamed Aleph. Okay, and he's going to define for us now. Now, for the purposes of this class, there's very subtle distinctions between sechel, bina, and das. I'm not going to go there. It's very deep, and I don't even know myself if I fully understand the subtle distinctions. So we're going to basically, lump them all together for the purposes of simplicity, and say the power of thought. Okay, sechel, bina, das are all different variations on our thoughts and our thinking process. Okay, now he's defining more clearly what does it mean, bina. And I'm going to the bottom of the paragraph where it says bina, where it says ki ha-sechel. Do you have it, Nadia? If you go down, you see where there's like a base at the top of the page?
I'm on, yeah.
Yeah, okay, now go down 1, 2, so the second big paragraph where it says Amar Elokim. Yeah, and then count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like the 10th line, which says Ki ha-sechel.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, great, beautiful. Okay, I'm showing you this because you can't not see this if you want to really have a handle on what does it mean, das and bina. Okay, Ki ha-sechel hu makom hasiyata dishmaya ba'adam. Okay, let's say that again. Ki ha-sechel hu makom hasiyata dishmaya ba'adam. Right, our intellect, our mind, right, or as Rav Pinkus calls it, our power of thought. Right, this is the place of siyata dishmaya. This is the place where, so to speak, we receive the hashgacha pratis, right, that Hashem is going to give us. This is the place of siyata dishmaya in the person. Aleinu l'das ki lahavin or lahaskil hem kochos hakadusha ba'adam. Right, that we have to know that these powers of understanding, lahavin or lahaskil, right, of understanding and as he says haskell, he defines haskell as evaluating, right, evaluating and also identifying, right. So this power of being lahavin or lahaskell, these are holy kochos, these are holy powers in the person. Behem hu mitkarev el haboro, right, and it's through these powers that we draw close to our Creator. Umitdabek b'darchav yisbarach. Ubehem hu zoche hashrat nemarom. Okay, so it's through these powers. It's through this power of thought. It's through, if you want to be with Hashem, you have to think about Hashem, right? Again, we're going to flesh out what all of this means. But what is Rav Wolbe telling us here? That it's these powers, they're given to us from above. These are holy powers. These are kochos hakadusha that are placed in man, and it's these kochos which draw us closer to Hashem. Right? Through these powers of lahavin or lahaskil, we can draw close to Hashem, right, and attach ourselves to Him and to His ways. Right? And then through this power of thought, through being lahavin or lahaskil, right, we merit the feeling of Hashrat Hashchina. We can merit feeling this unbelievable, visceral, experiential feeling of what? Of Hashem is really right here, right now. That Hashem is really with me. Okay, and I want to just finish go down to the last paragraph at the bottom of the page, right, where he's going to, so how do we do this? How do I activate? Actually, I want to just show you real quick, Nadia, if you're following along with me. Yes. The top of the page, the third sentence, like before the base, right, where he says, Makom hadvekus ba'adam hu hasechel hayashar b'hatahor. Okay, so this place, right, he said it's the makom of siyata d'shmaya. It's the place where we receive the siyata d'shmaya. It's the place of attachment itself. It's that place where I can feel, right, in a sensing, palpable place that Hashem is with me. And what gives us this feeling of Devekus? It's through the Sechel, which is Yashar and Tahor. Right? What does that mean, Yashar and Tahor? It means that our thoughts have to be straight, right? We have to be Yashar. We have to have a certain level of clarity and competence in our thinking. And what does it mean, Tahor? And I'm just paraphrasing what he said on the page previously. It means no biases. Right? It means to the degree that I can be completely objective and I don't have biases, I don't have, as we call in Hebrew, negios, to that degree that my thoughts are as clear and as pure, tahor, the yashar, right, that's how strong the level of Devekus is going to be. And as we saw before, the Rambam says it's within my power. I can choose, right, how much I'm going to access this Devekus. So what's the key? What's the key to having this? Go to the last paragraph. Right? How do I access all of this? Right? This is all very nice. Thank you, Devorah Yaffa, for explaining to me what's sechel and where it comes from, and lovely. But I want, again, give me a little sense of the how here. Right? So go to the last paragraph. Higdiru Chazal Khan. Et ha-sechel, what does it mean? Right? He's going to define for us what does it mean, a sechel that's yashar and tahor. Okay, so we've defined, Chazal have defined for us here. Right? Ha-sechel shehu, what does it mean to have this intellect? It means histaklut lamala. Right? Let's define it. It means looking upward. Right? Look up. Histaklut lamala. What does that mean? Harega shebo adam pone el hakadosh baruch hu rega shel sechel tahor v'yashar. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's say, because we're not perfect, right? Let's say, okay, so my sechel's not so tahor and not so yashar, and I have biases, and I have things that, I have corrupted thinking sometimes, and my thoughts aren't always so clear and so straightforward, and so then what? Like, I'm lost, there's no hope for me? Right? So what Rav Wolbe is pointing out to us is no. Even if, okay, you're working on it, but, your sechel's not so pure and straight. But what? But the moment that a person turns to Hashem, right, in that moment, right, hu rega shel sechel tahor v'yashar. Right? Which means what? Which means anytime you're in it, this is so crucial. This is like we're going to see is the kunz of everything. That at any moment you're in, any moment of frustration, any moment, whether it be a positive experience or a negative experience, or you're just feeling blah or unconscious or whatever you're experiencing, in that moment, you're lihistakel lamala, you're pone, you turn yourself to Hashem, you point yourself in the direction of Hashem, and that moment, your sechel is tahor v'yashar. Is that clear? Yeah? Harega shebo adam pone el hakadosh baruch hu rega shel sechel tahor v'yashar. Okay, but oto rega hu karov lebore, right? And in that moment, he's close to Hashem, right? Meaning in any given moment that you say, help, Hashem, I need you, right? We're going to talk very specifically. How do we be Pona? How do we do this, right? But in that moment that you're Pona to Hashem, that makes your sechel be tahor v'yashar, and in that moment, hu korev l'boreh, he's close to his Creator. I just want to finish with the last sentence here. Right, he's defining David HaMelech, right, who's called Hamaskil, right? Why is David HaMelech referred to as Hamaskil, right? Hamaskil, the last sentence. Zeh orech hayav lamala tamid. Zehu hasechel b'yashro u'b'taharato. Okay, the whole life of David HaMelech is that his whole length of his days was one of always looking up, right? He was always with histaklut lamala. Right, and having that perspective, being constantly Pona to Hashem, right, is the definition of a sechel that's yasher v'tahor. Okay, I'm sorry. I hope that wasn't too distracting, but thank you for indulging me in that source. So yeah, is that clear? So again, just to get a little bit into the how here. The first thing we said at the very beginning of the class is that if you to have this relationship with Hashem, you have to want it, right? So number one, you have to want it, and you have to want it with like all of your kishkas. And the more you want it, the more you'll have it. And the second point that we're seeing now with Rav Wolbe is, okay, so how do you want it? How do you show Hashem that you really, truly want the relationship? That in the moment, in whatever moment He's placing you in at that moment, you're Pona to Him. You point yourself in the direction of Hashem. You have this perspective of Histaklus Lamala, of looking up, right? And as we're going to come to see as we get even deeper into this, it's not just looking up, but it's also looking inward. Right? That any time you point yourself in the direction of Hashem, that is the makom devekas. That's the makom siyata d'shmaya. That's what makes your sechel yasher v'tahor. And I'm speaking too much Hebrew. I'm sorry, but it's that orientation, that stance of histaklut lamala, of looking up. That brings us to the feeling of attachment. Okay. Any questions on that?
I have a question. I got
go
distracted during number 2.
Can you hear me? Say again? What was the second point you're asking?
Yeah, I got distracted during the second point.
You got distracted from what I just
during
said,
the second point.
The second point was this histaklut lamala, that we have to know that in any situation that we're in, we have to bring Hashem into the picture. That's what we're going to learn how to do. I have to learn how to pause and look up. Look up, Hashem. What do you want from me in this moment? Right? This is the Hebrew. Do you understand Hebrew? Okay. What's your Hebrew?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, this the very last paragraph on that page, where he says, "Higdir Chazal kan et hasecha shehistaklut lamala." Right? That if you want to have this intellect, this mind, this thought process that's clear and pure, right? What's the key? What's the kunz? You have to learn how to look up. How to look up. How to so to speak, bring yourself out of of being, so to speak, in whatever situation you're in, and either bring Hashem into the picture. Or we're going to describe more what that means. What is this histaklut lamala? But that was the second point. It's basically what Bill Ravi said, which is the entire avoda is to bring Hashem into the picture. I have to learn, how do I bring Hashem into this picture? How do I bring Hashem into whatever situation I'm in? Yeah? Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. I don't know if I said this when I introduced myself or not in the first class when I was giving you my background. If I did, so I'm sorry to repeat myself. But another major reason why I found myself, really doing this and really developing this whole mahalach is I had a terrible, terrible temper when it came to being the tato, to taking care of my children And there was just no one like my kids who could push my buttons, and I'm not someone, I would not call myself, an angry person. I'm not one. I have a pretty easygoing temperament. I don't fight with my husband. I didn't fight with my parents. I never fought with my roommates. But for whatever reason, like my kids, they could just push that button inside of me, and I would just pop. I would momish pop. And I couldn't get a handle on it. And this is, after I was Balas Tshuva, and I was doing Kiruv, and I'm, having all these Shabbos guests, and I'm telling everybody about Hashem, Hashem, Hashem. But in the heat of the moment, right, I didn't know how to be Lahistakel Lamala. I didn't know how to bring Hashem into the picture. I didn't know how to look up. Yeah? So until I met this teacher of mine, Hannah Luke, who I think I did tell you, and she said, you have to learn how to bring Hashem into the picture. That's exactly what she said. At the time, I was like, what are you talking about? I had no idea what she was talking about. But she taught me, and then just Hashem kept sending me to all these different, just kept opening up for me more and more, revealing this Mahalach. But I learned how to, in a moment's notice, like I'm about to like absolutely explode, how in a moment to catch myself and realize, wait, stop, time out. Hashem is here. Hashem is here. If Hashem is here, what am I getting so angry about? Hashem is the one directing this whole scene. You have to get yourself into a state of consciousness where you realize that, you know what, I'm just an actress on a Hatzagah, on a play. Hashem is this master director, and he's the one having my kids, running in circles around my dining room table when I'm trying to put them to bed. And he's the one orchestrating this whole scene, and I just have to reestablish my connection with him, and the scene will shift. And that's exactly what happened. And it continues to happen, and it's incredible. Yeah, so because why? Because what I found is that the whole reason, again, it's that Yetzer Hara. The whole reason, the Yetzer Hara spins you in circles, and the whole reason my children were spinning me in circles was because I got disconnected, right? So as soon as I reestablished that connection, as soon as I'm in this Mistakel Lamala, as soon as I brought Hashem into the Matzav itself, yeah, and I had that consciousness, the whole scene shifted because, mission accomplished. You reconnected. Yeah, we're going to talk about that more, but I don't know if that answers your question, Nadia. But that's the point that you're saying here, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now I want to share with you quickly how does the Slonim Rebbe define Das? Okay, what we're talking about here is, again, we're talking about the power to think, and we're talking about Sechel, Bina, and Das, and again, we're going to use these terms, at least for the purposes of this series, a bit interchangeably. But let's define via the Slonim Rebbe what is Das, right? Das, which we loosely translate as knowledge. So what does it mean, knowing Hashem? Okay, that's what I want to go forward. How do we know Hashem, right? We said that if we think about Hashem, so we're with Hashem. So think of a loved one for a moment. Anytime you think of a loved one, and what does it mean to think about a loved one? Like, let's just use that as a mashal for a moment, right? So when I'm thinking about a loved one, I'm thinking about my husband, I'm thinking about my kids, right? So I'm seeing what they look like, and I'm seeing their qualities, and and I'm experiencing different experiences with them. And really, what all that's saying is that I have a certain knowledge of my husband. I have a certain knowledge of my children, which enables me to think about them. And then that will create, right, an emotional experience inside of me when I do that. So we have to learn, what does it mean to know Hashem? Yeah, that's where I want to go going forward. What time is it? Okay, 6 o'clock. Okay, so if you ladies have the Slonim Rebbe, I'm actually quoting from where it says Slonim page 2. Okay, again, this is from the Tiva Shalom, and he's going to define for us now. We saw the Rav Wolbe's definition of Sechel, right, of understanding, of intellect, and we're going to read now the Slonim Rebbe. Okay, so Nadia, since you're my pulse on the sources, turn to Slonim page 2 and go to the second paragraph where it says the explanation. You see where I am?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I put together.
Okay, great. Well, I'm just curious, who else is still with us? pop on and just let me know so I have a sense of timing.
Here, can you hear? I'm Rachel.
Yeah. Okay, Rachel, you're still there? Okay, good.
Right, I'm still here.
Okay.
Layla's here.
I'm
Who
here,
else?
Devorah.
Wait, tell me who you are.
Leslie.
Leslie. Hi, Leslie.
Yeah.
Oh, so nice to have you. Great.
I know. How are you? I didn't say hi. I popped on 10 minutes late. Sorry.
Oh, good. Okay. You're following what we're doing? Yeah?
Yep, I'm following while I'm doing housework, but I'm following.
Beautiful. Okay. Let's see if you're following while you're doing housework. That kind of defeats the purpose.
Thinking of Hashem while I'm doing it.
That's okay. Okay. You have to contemplate. You have to think. Don't let the Yaffa run you around.
I always do.
Okay. I'm teasing you. Who else? Bela, you're still there?
Yes.
Okay. Are you ladies good if I go for another half hour? You tell me. Or should I stop in 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
We're good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So the lady who usually I have needs her babysitter comes in and we need to stop by 6:15, so she's listening to the recording. So hopefully, Miriam, you'll indulge me the extra 15 minutes. But it's not simple for me to be the counselor myself, but I want to make it worthwhile for everybody. So how does the Slonim Rebbe define das? I'm reading where it says the explanation. The explanation has to do with the specific phrase in his mind, okay, b'da'ato. Now he's going to define for us what does it mean, das, in contrast with in his thoughts or in his emotions. So why does it say b'da'ato, in his mind? The Slonim Rebbe goes on. So the word mind indicates an awareness that is both cognitive and emotional. Sometimes repentance, tshuva, is motivated by the cognitive, sometimes by the emotional, but it is only when tshuva, repentance, stems from both of them simultaneously that he is considered righteous. This is also the meaning of an enlightened mind in the service of Hashem. It means that one experiences godly light illuminating both one's thinking and one's emotional life, that one connects to Hashem through both of them, that one both knows and feels that there is none besides him. Okay, nurturing this awareness leads one to the light of Torah and genuine service. And, okay, we'll end there, right? This is the last sentence. This awareness encompasses both thinking and feeling. It is the link between mind and heart, and it transforms a person's nature. Does that mean that just got bounced off and someone had to hang up? You ladies still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so what is the Slonim Rebbe saying right here? He's saying that this das, this knowledge, this knowing Hashem, it's not enough to know it in your head. You have to know it in your heart, right? It has to be, as he says, both cognitive and emotional. Okay? Now, flip back over to page 1. And now we're going to read something that is, I think, quite a provocative statement, which Devorah Yaffa would never say, but the Slonim Rebbe says it. So I'm going to read now from the first paragraph, where it says the foundation of service. Okay? And he says the following. Let me just see if I skipped something here. Oh, you know what? I did skip something. Wait, hold off on that before we do that, because I want to show you in the Chumash for a minute. Right, okay. So this power of das that we just read from Rav Wolbe, right? And we read that it says that it's this power that comes from above and that Hashem placed into us. And now I want to ask the question, which is, okay, so where do I get this das? Right? We just said Hashem put it into us. Well, when did Hashem put it into us? And I don't remember specifically, Hashem putting this das into me. So, how, when did this take place? So I want to just turn your attention for a moment. I scanned for you, and it didn't come out so clearly. So if you happen to have an Art Scroll Chumash in front of you, I'm reading from Sefer Devarim, Parshas Eschanan. Okay, and this is just to answer the question, so where does this das come from, right? This das seems to be the key to everything, that if I'm able to somehow gain some kind of a handle on my thought process, if I can gain a handle on my thinking, if I can learn how to be conscious, right? And when I'm conscious, that's going to help me beat the Yetzer Hara, and that's going to help me have Devorah, and that's going to help me have Siyata Dishmaya. And I want this consciousness. I want it. Right? This is the key to everything. So where did we get this? Yeah. So it tells, Moshe Rabbeinu describes for us, he's describing, all of Sefer Devarim is basically a sikum, a summary of all the events, right, that happened to the Jewish people in the desert. So he's reviewing now for the Jewish people the events at Har Sinai, right, and he says the following, right, I'm quoting now from verse Lamed Hey, chapter 4, the Eschanan, chapter 4, Lamed Hey. So I'll read it in Hebrew and then translate. Ata harata lada'as Ki Adonai hu Elohim ein od novado. Okay, that translates in English, you have been shown in order to know that Hashem, He is God, there is none beside Him. If you were ever wondering where does the phrase ein od novado come from, it's not just a bumper sticker that we see put on the back of Israeli cars, but it's actually from the Chumash right here. Yeah, Ata harata lada'as. Right? What does this mean, Ata harata ladas? Let's actually look at the commentary from the Art Scroll Perush, right? So I'm reading at the bottom of the page. I don't know if this came out so clearly in the scan, where it says 35. And the Perush says, you have been shown in order to know. When God gave the Ten Commandments, He opened the heavens above and the nether regions below so that it would be clear to every Jew that there is only one God. That's Rashi. Now let's hear what Forno says. God allowed you the privilege of experiencing, right, underline that, of experiencing all these wondrous phenomena so that you could meditate, right, there's that word again, the Hitzbo name, so that you could meditate, contemplate, meditate upon them and draw the unshakable conclusion that only Hashem is God. Okay, so the word that I really want to pinpoint here is God allowed you the privilege of experiencing. So what does that mean? That means even if, I personally can't say I remember having stood at Har Sinai, right? But we were all there. Like on a neshama level, we all experienced this incredible revelation. What does it mean that God opened up the higher worlds and the lower worlds, and I think the Hebrew is the espakleria, right, which is this crystal. It was like Hashem held over our heads this unbelievable crystal that allowed you to see, if you can just imagine for a moment, like you could see all of the different layers of existence and creation, and you didn't see, you experienced the reality of Elokus flowing through everything, right? That everything was made up of Elokus, everything was made up of I don't even know how, there's not words for it, this divine energy, right? And so we experienced the truth. It wasn't a discovery seminar. It wasn't, doing Lights of Emunah. We were there, right? This Das is something that we have in our neshama memory bank, right? We all experienced on a national collective, it's in our collective consciousness, in our collective neshama, this experience of Ein Od Milvado. It's not something that I have to necessarily acquire, something that I have to uncover, something I have to learn to tap into, right? But it's already inside of me, right? This experience on a neshama level of Ein Od Milvado. It's already built inside of me. It's something, again, that we saw from Rav Wolbe that Hashem places inside of us. Okay, also when we get to Hanukkah, there's a beautiful Torah, Hanukkah Torah, this idea of, we're all familiar with the midrash of the fetus as it's growing in its mother's womb, and the malach is like teaching the baby Torah, right? And the mother's womb, we're all familiar with this Jewish Agadah. And so that's, and again, in a very simple way, where we each receive our personal, individual Das packaging, so to speak, right, when we're growing as a fetus inside our mother's womb. Okay, so we're born with it, right? Or not only born with it, but we develop in utero with this light that's shining. It says that the Malach taught the we're going to talk about this more in Hanukkah, but the Malach taught the fetus, Kol HaTorah Kulo, right? The fetus is able to see from one end of the world to the other, right? Has this unbelievable clarity of Ein Od Milvado while it's developing inside its mother's womb. Right, so that's where we received this das individually, and we received it collectively and nationally at Har Sinai. So really, the whole avoda and it is learning. And this is where we're going to see why it's so important to get quiet and to not, run around, and to not the only way we can access this das is by getting quiet, is by sitting still, right, as we're going to come to see, is by having these moments where we can contemplate and think. And don't think that the Yetzer Hara, because this is it, this is the area where we nail him, he is going to spin you in circles to keep you from going to this place, right? Because this is where we make contact. Yeah? So I wanted to show you that before I show you what the Slonim Rebbe has to say. So let's go back now to the Slonim Rebbe, page 1, and because he's going to refer back to what we just read, and I wanted you to see it inside. So Nadia, you have where it says Slonim page 1? Yeah? Somebody have it? Oh, good. I'm still here? Someone tell me you still hear me.
Sorry, my thing wasn't working. Yes, I have it.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Thank you. I need you, Nadia. You're my feedback mechanism. Okay. Okay, any questions on anything I've said? You ladies are either I'm talking too fast, or I'm not breathing enough, or I'm not giving you an opportunity to ask questions.
I have a question from...
Yeah.
I have a question when you said about the coal and the torch.
First tell me who you are.
Nadia.
Nadia, okay. Which part are you referring to?
You were saying that we get
you're going back to the Ramchal. Oh, so right.
You
so the
can address it later.
You're referring to the Derech Eitz Chaim source, right? The Ramchal, he gives, I didn't bring it. It's not in that particular paragraph that I read to you, but he gives the analogy of just like you need to blow on a piece of coal, right, in order to, so to speak, bring the fire out of it and make it into a flame, right? So too, we need to, so to speak, blow on our das in order to make it into a torch, in order to make it into a flame.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's a good question. And when we get to the power of Devorah, that's exactly what the power of speech is all about. It's actually this blowing. When we speak, what are we really doing when we speak? I don't want to jump ahead too much because this is weeks away. But just to give you a sneak preview, when we speak, right, we're breathing, right, we're blowing air. Yeah. So there's the way that we get this contemplation going, right, is through, right, as my teacher Rabbi Niven calls it, verbal introspection. That when we speak out loud, right, that has an incredible power of bringing us into this space, that we're describing. So that we'll get to that when we get to the power of speech. So so let's go back to the Slonim for a minute. Let me just see where I am. Okay. So now. So how do we get to this das? Yeah? Or let's go back for a minute. We just read where the das comes from. It comes from this national revelation that we had as a collective people at Har Sinai. And let's read what the Slonim Rebbe says. The foundation of service and the pillar of the Hasidic way is the quality of enlightened awareness. Right? He's defining das. Right? Here, let's just look at the Hebrew for a minute. Lachen, Ikar hit navrut hayit. Sorry, is that the same thing? Sorry, that's translating something else. So I don't want to go there right now. Okay, I don't have the Hebrew. Oh no, I do have it above. Sorry, Yesod. Yeah, I do have it above. Yesod ha'avoda v'yamod ha'chasidut hi midat ha'arat hadas. Okay, so the ikar of this avoda, right, is to have this ha'arat hadas, right? As we just saw, what does it mean, ha'arat ladas? And he's referring specifically to the pasuk we just read, atah harata ladas, Ki ani Hashem ein od novado. Right, so he's bringing the harata ladas from what we just read in the Et Hanan. Right, so what does it mean, harata ladas? Yeah, concerning this, our sages remarked, if you have acquired das, awareness, here he's defining das as awareness, right, or as we saw before from the Ramchal, consciousness. Right? If you have this awareness, if you have this, what does it mean? Again, das, it means that I emotionally and I intellectually, I know both from my head and from my heart, I know that Hashem is beside me. Right? That's what it means. Right? If you have that awareness, if you have this again, we'll call it a visceral, experiential, intellectual, emotional thought, feeling of Hashem is right here, right now, right, as my teacher would always say, let's just for an exercise for just a moment to make this a little bit more real, whether you ladies are on mute or not on mute, but just let's try for one moment. Say with me, either in your head or if there's a power to saying it out loud, it makes it even more, it brings it deeper inside of you. Just say out loud with me, Hashem is right here, right now. Hashem is right here, right now.
Right now.
Hashem is right here, right now. Right here, right now. I don't know about anyone else on this call, but I've been talking for like an hour straight, and I've been talking from like a very, call it, analytical part of my brain. And just saying that simple phrase, Hashem is right here, right now, I just lowered my brain frequency, and I just brought myself I just switched my brain into like a different state of mind, just from saying it, right? But this is a tiny, tiny little example. But if you can bring yourself, so what does it mean, again, to pause and be able to bring Hashem into the picture? So whatever is going on around you, if you can just stop and, so to speak, pull the reins back on whatever Yetzer Hara it is that's making you meshugana in the moment, and just say to yourself, Hashem is right here, right now, right? Or ein od milvado, or whatever, Hashem, I know you love me. It doesn't really matter what you say, yeah, but there's a power to saying something out loud. And if you do that, right, if you do that even more so in a quiet, calm space, right, we're going to learn there's a whole mahalach, there's a whole process to doing this. But when you do this, right, over and over in a calm, quiet space, and then in the heat of the moment, you say it again, you'll find yourself calming down. You'll find literally your brain frequency, right, our brain runs on a frequency, on a TED. And you'll find your brain waves slowing down, and you'll find yourself becoming calm. Yeah, I just switched myself from an analytical part of my brain to an intuitive part of my brain by simply repeating, Hashem is right here, right now. And I feel it. I feel a shift. Yeah, anyone else experience what I'm talking about? Rachel? Nadia? Anyone?
Yeah, I do.
Feel a shift just from saying it? Yeah? Okay, great. So now, if we have this, what we just did is we just accessed our das, right? So he says, if you have acquired das, what do you lack? Right? And if you lack awareness, what have you gained? Right? So what is that saying? That's saying if I'm really plugged in to the reality of Hashem is right here, right now, and I can learn how to like flip that switch in a moment just by saying it. I can be there and I can feel it. And how do I know it's real? How do I know it's not just my dimion, it's not just my imagination? Because Hashem wants me to be in a relationship. The whole tachlis of creation is for us to be in this relationship, because this is it. This is the only part that's missing to bring in Geula. It's for us, especially as Jewish women, because we're the ones meant to bring the Geula. That if we can learn how to do this is all that's missing, is to learn in a moment's notice to flick that switch. Hashem is right here, right now. Yeah, and if you can do that, then what do you lack? Then you have everything. You have everything. You have control over your Yetzer Hara. You have control over your midos. You may not have control over, so to speak, the life situations that Hashem sends your way, but you will 100% have control over the way you respond to whatever situation you're in. Yeah? That's what it means to bring Hashem into the picture. And if you don't have that, right, if you think you're in this place of I am in control, or as the Greek voices were saying to us, Kochi v'otzim yadi, it's all in my hands, right? If you don't have this das, if you don't have this ability to flick the switch and say and feel and my thoughts and my feelings, Hashem is right here, right now, if I don't have that, so what have I gained? I don't have anything. Yeah, and this Rabbi Niven would say, put this on your refrigerator, and it's a very strong statement, which again I don't feel comfortable saying, but I feel comfortable bringing it in the name of the Slonim Rebbe. He says, for the value of one's service is measured only according to enlightenment of the mind. That is, one's awareness of the blessed Creator. Our sages remarked in the Midrash that the word da'as refers to awareness of the Creator. Again, the value of one's service is measured only according to enlightenment of the mind. That is awareness of the blessed Creator. Yeah, that's a powerful statement. So
where did you read that from?
Yeah, that's from page 1. That's from the Netiva Shalom, and that's the first paragraph from page 1 of the Slonim Rebbe.
Oh, the foundation of service? No.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, for the value of okay, sorry, I got it.
So if you have a pencil, underline that, because that's an extremely powerful statement, yeah? So what is that saying? Yeah, that's saying that, again, what I said earlier, right? We're doing all the mitzvahs anyway. We're being moser nefesh anyway to do all this. But if we're doing all of the things that we're doing, and everything we're doing in any moment has the potential to be a mitzvah, right? Whether you're making dinner or you're cleaning your house, or you're doing any of the myriad of things that you need to help your family, or you're trying to make a parnasa, right? So that you can live, so that you can serve Hashem with Yeshuva Das, right? Everything that we're doing can fall into this framework, right? So if we're doing all of these things anyway, but we're not bringing Hashem into the picture, right? Who lo b'toch kol ha'esek, we're just not plugging in at all, Halila. Right? So what's going to be when we get to the next world, and the whole reality, the whole eternity of our next world existence is the relationship with Hashem that we were meant to build in this world. And we're going to say, well, I did this chesed and I learned this Torah, and I do, and you can rattle off all the amazing things that you've done, and they're important, and I imagine we'll get hard for those things. But the true value of all of these things that we're doing is the degree that, how does he say it? Because I don't want to put words into his mouth. The value of one's service is measured according to enlightenment of the mind. That is one's awareness of the blessed Creator. We have to learn how to build this God consciousness. This is it. This is the last final frontier, right? as Captain Kirk was fond of saying.